Okay.
I remember when I was a girl, and the missionaries came and told us about the... I remember when I heard that. I snuck out at night, and that fort burned down a few years ago, when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. I miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on... I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand... If war is coming, I should be doing what Thaos is doing. I will need allies. Allies on a stronghold that can resist an invading army. Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders.
Another turn, Inquisitor. I ask again, Iovara Exensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand...
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
Do you confess?
I can...
Do you...
I confess.
Indeed.
He wears the robes of a grand...
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lie...
Only... No!
You are ready...
I'm ready.
Urutokyu. Yep.
After what seems like an eternity, your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Adra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath, their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through. Now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
That went better than I expected.
I think that statue of Woodica was watching us soil ourselves on the way down.
Everyone all right? No shattered knees? Good. Just me, then.
Yeah, I may be too big of a button. Yeah. But there's not. I'm the Watcher and the Lord that can do one. I bring death to those who oppose me.
That didn't work!
That's for my friend!
What reason for which do I gather loot at this point? I may not know.
That's it!
Absolutely.
This I haven't seen. That's it!
I'd be glad to.
A simple test. That's settled.
You've come back. I had thought to have set you on the right path ages ago. You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here? A gallant gesture, if a bit misguided. And I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Thaos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done. After all this time, he would still stand against the tide. I will tell you what I remember. I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching, that the gods aren't real.
I dreaded the idea from the moment the Delimgon suggested it. And yet, she's not serious.
Perhaps not to her. Many are those whom the gods have scorned. This
Nonsense! Clearly she has not been on the receiving end of a god's ire.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something They were conceived by Engwith, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Thaos' people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Engwithans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the truth, generation after generation. They prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day, they found an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. It shook them, this finding. If they could discover this on their own, how long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void. The Engwithan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them. And in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I never thought of it as faith, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed, that I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning. You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, and it may be certainty your soul craves. Resolution. But if you are bound for the same place Thaos directs these souls, everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. What if all the tragedy, all the persecution, came in defense of an imposter?
That's not... That can't be right. Aethys, he's done miracles.
The power of the gods is undeniable. The truth of the story they weave. What if it were forbidden knowledge rather than fault that earned your doom? What of your guilt?
I have seen with my own eyes the deceptions of my goddess. The Watcher has shown me as much. But it was not until now.
You speak of her deceptions, but what of your own? Was it her words that led you down your path? Or was it the absence of her words? A gap that you filled with your own broken thoughts? What if you had always been alone, without guidance?
Well, as poorly as I've chosen my guides, I suppose it would be a comfort to know that I'm free of them.
The freedom has always been. It was the guidance that was the illusion. What if neither guide knew the way? How then would you choose a course?
Well, I suppose I would always choose that which makes me stronger. But instead of doing it because Galawain wishes it, I do it merely because I wish it for my own life. Oh, Galawain, know that your humble servant was speaking rhetorically.
What if even mastery over all things cannot answer the most basic of questions?
I stopped asking those questions long ago. It is enough to care for those we love with the time we have in this. Verus. We find purpose in ourselves and in the people.
There is bliss to be found in the things we create, but sorrow as well. Every creation bears the imperfections of its creator, and its creator's creator. Art and song are creation. I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted. No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it? If that is truly what you believe, then you are a far different person. I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures, and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest. I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember? Woodica gifted him a great many things, but his ability to manipulate... Good. The things I taught, the things I believed, I needed to hear that. I needed to know it wasn't because... We knew little of each other before you arrived at my camp. You might have been anybody. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who? I expected dissent, but I needed to know that true faith would prevail. Perhaps I've been wrong to place so much importance on one person's actions. It was all I could do to feel, even knowing what you've told me. Some part of me knows it doesn't truly answer what I wished to know, nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made? At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish, but now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Thaos that your agony lies, in sun and shadow. Your questions are not for me, but for him. And it may yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know, in a matter of speaking. This is Braeth Yamen, the court of the penitents. souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition, but time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains. Yet, I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out for the judgment of Thaos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then. They aid you because they would bend you to their own purposes. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and but these souls. These forgiven the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end. Last time someone asked me that, I was bound to an iron wheel with a broken spine. There are many things I've come to doubt about the choices I... The gods need to be reminded that we have a spirit, and that spirit is proof against their power. They have the power to manipulate and confuse and ruin us, but not to change our will. I will remain here until the world crumbles and fades from existence with joy in my heart. I could not say for sure, but you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life, when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this. He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys any... That's why he's always favored Woodica. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Thaos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And if Thaos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Woodica was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty, you will not find a more resolute being on all of Eora. There is no offer you could make, nor spell you could cast, nor pain you could inflict that would make him reveal what he hides. But I see you have become a watcher in this life. Thaos will not wait for you. If you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again. Your soul deserves an end to its suffering. I'm sorry I wasn't able to grant it myself. May it come to you swiftly. If ever we should meet again, in this life or any other,